Okay, the main objective on lesson 4 is we're going to start showing the students take diagrams again on how to use fraction models as division. And this is going to be very important as we go into the word problems. Okay, in lesson 4, we're continuing with our division of whole numbers. And you can see in question 1 here, and it's showing us how to do it. It's showing us as 1 divided by 4, and you know when you rewrite the division problem as a fraction, it gives the answer. Now here's a pictorial representation showing it. Here's one whole divided into 4 sections, and it wants to know what the one section is. So obviously 4 units equals 1. 1 unit equals 1 out of 4, so 1/4. Now on the standard algorithm, we see 4 would go into 1 0 times, right here. So then they subtract it, come back to 1. So on the remainder will be 1/4. To check that, we have 4 times 1/4, which is adding 1/4 4 times. So 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 is 4/4, which equals 1, which check. Okay, so now let's try these. It says 4/5, 4 divided by 5, which we know now is going to be 4/5. And a visual representation of it. Here's 4, and we're splitting it up into fifths. And we're looking, and we are shading in 4 out of the 5. That would be 4/5. Okay. Now the standard algorithm, if we add it here and we put 4 divided by 5, 5 will go into 4 0 times. 0 times 5 is 0, subtract is 4, and we end up with our 4/5 remainder. So that means to check it, it's 5 times 4/5. So that's 4/5 plus 4/5 plus 4/5 plus 4/5 plus 4/5, which we know the answer is in fifths, and we got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And we know 20/5 is equal to 4, which checks because that's what our dividend was. Okay, 8/5. Now this already tells us that it's going to be more than one whole. So I'm going to need 2 blocks to represent this. And I'm splitting them into fifths. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And we're shading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/5. The standard algorithm is 8 divided by 5, which 5 will go into 8 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. And we end up with 3/5 left. And you can see this represented the 1, and this represents the 3/5. Now to check it, it's 5 times 1 3/5. So we have 1 3/5 plus 1 3/5 plus 1 3/5 plus 1 3/5 plus 1 3/5, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. And in fifths, we got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, which we know that's the same as 5 plus 5. 15 divided by 5 would be 3, which gives us 8, which is our dividend we started with, so that checks. Our last one, we have 14/3. And I can see 3 is going to go into 14 4 times. Okay, so I'm actually going to need 5 to show this one. And we're splitting them all into thirds. So if I go, there's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3, 9/3, 10/3, 11/3, 12/3, 13/3, and 14/3. And you can see here, I've got a remainder of 1/3. Let's see if that works. So, the standard algorithm is 14 divided by 3. And we already know 3 divided by 4 into 14, it will go 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12 with 2 left. So that ends up with 4 2/3. And we can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4 holes, just like what we have, and 1 2/3 down here. Now, so we have 3 times 4 2/3. So that's 4 2/3 plus 4 2/3 plus 4 2/3. Whole numbers, 4, 8, 12. And our thirds are 2, 4, 6. So we know 6/3 is equal to 2, so it equals 14. Same as what we started. Checks. And question 2 is kind of like the one we had in the previous lesson, where we're filling in the known information, we'll be able to relating the division expression to a fraction. And we can see that 3/4, we know that becomes 3 divided by 4. Between which two whole numbers is your answer? 0 and 1. Okay. Well, I can see that I'm dividing this one here. If we're dividing 3 by 4, it's going to be less than 1, and it's going to be more than 0. So that's why I put 0 and 1. And we can verify that because 3 divided by 4 will go into 0 times, and subtract 0, 3, and we got 3/4. So it's between 0 and 1, 0 and 3/4, see? Now 7/2, 7 divided by 2. Now I can see here 2 will go into 7 3 times. 3 times 2 is going to be 6 with 1 left over. So that's 3.5. So we know this is going to be between 3 and 4. This one here, I have 81/90. So I can tell right now just by looking at this, this is going to be between 0 and 1 because it's a fraction. And the fraction, the numerator is less than the denominator, so it's less than 1. So now we have 81 divided by 90, which ends up being 0. 0 times 90 is 0, 81, and you ended up with 81/90. Okay, what they're showing you here is the Jackie cut 2-yard spool into 5 equal lengths. A ribbon, what is the length of ribbon in yards? The length of each ribbon in yards. Draw a tape diagram. So you can see this is 2 yards. They cut them into fifths. So just like we show over here, if we're looking for how much 1 is, 2 divided by 5 equals 2/5. So each one of these is going to be 2/5 long. What is the length of each ribbon in feet? Okay. Well, this is 2/5 of a yard, which equals 2/5 times 1 yard, which becomes, we want this in feet, so 2/5 times 1 yard equals 3 feet, which when I rewrite this, I like going 2 times 3 feet over 5, which equals 6/5 feet, which equals 1 1/5 feet. So each one would be 1 1/5 feet long. Baba the black sheep had 7 pounds of wool. If he separated wool equally into 3 bags, how much wool would be in 2 bags? Okay, this is where you got to be careful, because you can end up answering a question that was not being asked. Because in order to solve this, we know there's 7 pounds of wool here. And it says he separated them into 3 bags. So we know in order to figure out this 1 right here, this 1 unit, we have 7 divided by 3 equals 7/3 pounds, which 7/3 pounds is equal to 3 will go into 7 2 times with 1 left over, pounds. So we're saying each one of these is 2 1/3 pounds. Now, a lot of students at this point will put this answer in saying it's 2 1/3 pounds. But the question is, how much would be in 2 bags? So this is 1 bag. So 2 bags represented here would be 2 1/3 plus 2 1/3 would equals 4 2/3 pounds. That would be the correct answer. An adult sweater is made of 2 pounds of wool. This is 3 times as much wool as it takes to make a baby sweater. How much wool does it take to make a baby sweater? So, it says here's 2 pounds of wool. Okay. And it says this is 3 times as much as it makes to make a baby sweater. So that means from that same thing, I can make 3 baby sweaters. So this would be 1 baby sweater. So I can see I have 2 pounds divided by 3 equals 2/3 pounds. So each one would be 2/3 pounds. And we can see that because if we wanted to check it, we would go 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3, which equals 6/3, which equals 2 pounds. Checks.